So apparently this is no longer a thing. People no longer care about gun rights or constitutional rights or liberty or what the founding fathers had intended for this country. In this video, I'm going to outline this. Earlier today, I'm sure many of you saw there was this long drawn out hearing where they uncovered some whistleblower who wanted to tell the real truth about Hunter Biden and Burisma and the big guy and all this stuff. But everybody missed the real message, the subtext. Wait until I show you this. It's going to blow your mind. Real quick, though, as always, I just want to take a minute, say thank you to those of you who have continued to show up and be there for the Florida Maquis. I very, very much appreciate it. It's only $1 US per month to join the Florida Maquis Patreon channel. Over there, we can take the gloves off and we can talk about things in ways we can't talk about them here. We can partner with Vimeo to do that. We still have to be very careful what we say on YouTube, primarily because of a lot of the reason what we saw earlier today. And we're going to outline this. Fully refundable, first 90 days, no questions asked. Would love to have you over there. We've got quite a few folks over there, and they will tell you down in the comment section the content is very different. And it's not for everybody. There have been a lot of folks signed up, watch the content, they like this video, like that video, but then I do one and it gets their nose bent out of shape a little bit. They ask for the refund, no problem. That's why I have it set at the lowest allowable level of $1 US. So without any further delay. So apparently, IRS door kickers are now the heroes of America. Special agents, we're just going to call them stunning and brave. Because that's what they were referred to over and over again. Not by Democrats. No, by conservatives. Remember the ones that said they were going to withhold the funding for the 87,000 new IRS agents? Well, guess what they did today? They got down on their knees and they worshipped a couple of door kickers, a couple of guys primarily responsible for ruining lives, seizing assets, destroying businesses, terrorizing Americans. Special agents, stunning and brave. That's what we're going to call them. Especially the one on the right who showed up wearing a flag as a tie, as an homage to the trans flag movement. He is, of course, the gay Democrat that nobody knew about until today. And they sat and talked about the wonderful job that it is to be the IRS agent in charge of going out and seizing the wealth of Americans to finance what Washington, D.C. does in their criminal activities. That, make no mistake, that's who these two guys are. In this particular context, everybody's like, oh man, this is great. They're telling the truth about Hunter Biden, Burisma. Such a small part of their job. And they even testified to it over and over and over again today, and everybody missed it. Everybody missed it. They've been ruining lives for 14 years. And all of a sudden, something comes around that doesn't, according to them, this is what doesn't smell right to you? This is what doesn't smell right to you. You're perfectly okay being an IRS door kicker. Going into people's homes, going through their finances, violating their rights. Maybe if they had showed up in uniform. Or maybe if we had had video of what they normally do. And who they normally target. You see, they also said this, these two did over and over again. There should be no special treatment. No special treatment. Oh, I see. So seizing guns from some people, seizing guns from everybody is appropriate. Everybody, no matter what. And that's what they bragged about. Hey, we got him on a gun charge. And then all the Republicans were like, yay. I'm like, oh, wonderful. What a bunch of hypocrites. Oh, but it's about influence peddling, Mucky. It's really about influence. It's about influence peddling? Guys, take a breath and listen to what I'm about to say. What happened to Donald Trump's poll numbers after the first announcement of some type of a legal engagement, some type of an indictment? They skyrocketed. That's right. Went way, 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 way up. Because everybody's like, it's the corrupt government. It's the deep state going after. And that's what all of his supporters, and they galvanized. They galvanized around him. This was right around the time that this is what Governor DeSantis had to deal with. Is that it wasn't that he was necessarily less popular, There are people that are saying, yeah, I like DeSantis, but man, they're going after the president. Okay. What happened after the second time? The same thing. His poll numbers went up even more. What do you think is going to happen to Joe Biden now? The same thing. You think Joe Biden's poll numbers are going to go down because there's a hearing into his son and his hookers and his blow and whatever? No. The same thing is going to happen to Joe Biden as what happened to Donald Trump. His base, the people that support him, the people that are around him, are going to close ranks. And they're going to say, see, look, yes, there's corruption here, but look at this other guy over here. Look how corrupt he was. And it's going to activate the base of the left. That's all that's going to happen, just on the other side. Now, believe it or not, there was some good news out of Washington, D.C. This is a spectacular idea. And that had to come from a Democrat is mind-bending to me. They want to take the definition of what a husband is and what a wife is and completely divorce it from anything to do with the federal government. How many of you would be for that? Given that the terms are biblical terms, number one. And number two, the U.S. government has no business in marriage. Deciding what is a marriage, what isn't a marriage, who should do this, should do that. It's not their purview. This is a fantastic idea, but of course it gets buried. Biden family, Hunter Associated raked in over $17 million from foreign sources, IRS whistleblower. Yes, and I'm sure he's the first one. I'm sure he's the only one that has ever done this. See, criminals don't obey laws. They don't. You see, according to Agents Stunning and Brave, Special Agent Stunning and Special Agent Brave, you see, they would love nothing more than to have a magical robot army to go kick in every door, including yours. Don't be deceived. Those two guys, if they had their way, patriotic duty to make sure every American has done their patriotic income tax paying duty. That's what they would love to have. They don't have enough people. They don't have enough money. They don't have enough technology. They never have enough of anything. So they just want to get more and more and more and more so that they can come violate more of your rights, take away more of your wealth, infringe more. And look, this isn't some indictment of him in particular, but this is from February of 1985. There has been this ridiculous story that floats around about Donald Trump, about him being a new sheriff in town, not involved in politics, outsider, knows where the bear is. This is Donald Trump and his wife, Donald here, Ivana here, in 1985. I wasn't even old enough I was barely old enough to drive. No, actually, I would have turned 15. This is February of that year. So I had yet to turn 15. I turned 15 in April of 1985. So here, I was 14 years old here when this was happening. And here they are at a state dinner shaking hands with the king of Saudi Arabia. And then what do we know about the kids? The kid and the kid's husband? Well, pretty clear. Pretty clear that this relationship between the Trumps and the Saudis have gone back a long time. Now, you can say what you want about Burisma and about Romania and about Zelensky and Ukraine and all that. They are minor little bitty bit players on the world stage compared to Saudi Arabia. And it was 13 June 2016 when Donald Trump said on Twitter, Saudi Arabia and many of the countries that gave vast amount of monies to the Clinton Foundation want women as slaves and to kill gays. Hillary must return all money from such countries. And here today we have a Special Agent, I don't know if we'll call him Stunning or Special Agent Brave. I think we'll call him Special Agent Stunning, and we'll call this guy Special Agent Brave, because they're stunning and brave, brave and stunning and brave. That's all they were. It's that he's, went on about boo hoo hoo, poor little me and my husband, poor little, because we're whistleblowers, poor little me and my husband. Sorry. I feel bad for your mom and your dad. I don't feel bad for you and your husband, whatever. You see, this is not a unique phenomenon to Washington, D.C. Oh, and by the way, in case nobody was paying attention, Russia launched massive missile strikes all over Ukraine, but not really important, I guess, today. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, I guess we'll just leave with this, that these are the new heroes of the conservative movement now. The door kickers. What was the guy's name? I wonder what Lavoy Finicum would say about this. I wonder what the cats at Ruby Ridge would say about this. I bet there's a lot of folks out there that can name even more who would say, hold on a minute. Hold on. Let's beep, beep, beep. Let's back that truck up. Let's back that truck up before we start worshiping at the feet of Agent Stunning and Brave here. These guys have been part of the biggest criminal organization that has existed on the planet, bar none. I don't care who you're talking about. Going all the way back to Jesus' era, there's been no organization that has deprived more people of more wealth and more freedom than the IRS and the BATF. And I don't care how, they treated us so poorly. Oh, they made fun of us, and they wouldn't get back to us on emails. Our life was hell. This was the bitching and the moaning and pissing they were doing. Because they're like, look, we don't want to get into it. We have bigger fish to fry. Hey, did anybody even bother to ask this question? Could it possibly have been that they weren't necessarily trying to cover for Joe Biden or Hunter, but that maybe the superiors knew? He's like, look, yeah, they probably are corrupt as sin, but for us to get them is going to take decades and years, and it's going to be a giant political football, and it's going to be a giant mess, and we're probably not going to end up making any more money for the American people one way or the other. Not defending the IRS here, but they're all about just making the bucks. That it might have said, look, we agree with you two, Agent Stunning and Brave, but we think that we can take all of that effort and time and we can put it towards other things, other areas of fraud, areas of criminality that will be a more low-hanging fruit, let's put it that way. That, yeah, I mean, and there's nothing right about that. I agree. But this ridiculous notion that there will someday be this perfect, beautiful country where rich people are treated just like poor people is delusional. I don't care who you are. It's delusional to think that somehow the poorest are going to be able to have the same type of legal defenses and protections that rich people are. That's naive. Whether you're a Donald Trump supporter or whether you're a Joe Biden supporter, it doesn't matter. Corruption is corruption. And it will always be. So I'm not defending the IRS, but I think these two guys are just naive, ignorant, true believers to the extent that they can't even see what's right in front of their face. That they're part of the criminality. That if there were true justice in the world, there'd be 800 sets of gallows outside of Washington, D.C., one for every freaking IRS agent we can find. And that's the reality. So, just going to lay it out there. Might get demonetized, who knows. But that's the point. That's why we have the backup channel. That's why we have the Patreon channel as a just in case. And like I said, it's $1. It's $1 per month. God bless all of you. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.